Alright guys, welcome to Power Drift. You are going to see me a little sad because I've just had a tire puncture, which kind of makes me realize that each and every day of our lives we rely on a few very important things to get us through that particular day, alive.
Yeah, and believe it or not, high on that list along with coffee and Wi-Fi are tires.
That's right. Good tires on your car can make or break your day. You'll agree. A puncture could cost you a job. Or a loss of grip, simple loss of grip in wet can make you meet your maker.
True, we all know that tires are super important, especially on the war front that is called the Indian roads, where each drive that you successfully complete is equivalent to winning a battle.
Luckily, we Indians know how to adjust, right? We know. And so we have learned a thing or two about how to make your tires tougher and battle ready.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, and that is why today on Power Drift we present a very special tire by a very special Indian tire brand. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Apollo Aptera Cross.
And that has to be one of the coolest sounding names for a tire, don't you think? Almost sounds like an SUV.
Which isn't surprising because the Apollo Aptera Cross is specifically designed for compact SUVs. Cars like the Kia Sonet, the Seltos, the Hyundai Creta Venue, Tata Nexon, the Nissan Magnite. You know what I'm talking about, cars that India seems to be driving around these days.
So it's all the more important that your or our car rides on the right set of tires. And that's where the Apollo Aptera Cross comes in. A high-performance summer tire that promises to have the perfect blend of comfort, safety and sportiness. And that's how you define yourself in your last resume.
Yes, just like me, Apollo knew what they were doing. And for starters, they figured out a way to make a tire comfortable on Indian roads. And the contour of the Aptera Cross is designed through advanced simulation tools that take into account the worst of the situations our Indian roads can throw at them.
Like hitting an unmarked speed breaker at speed. We all know how that feels. I've had that unfortunate experience happen to me before, and you know how that feels.
I guess you should have just paid a little more attention on the road. Anyways, as I was saying, the contours have been specially tuned for better compression during high impact situations, just like the one he had.
But there are some Indian roads, believe it or not, that let you enjoy driving, and on that rare occasion, tires like these, the Apollo Aptera Cross, they show you their sporty side.
Yeah, so that when you finally drive down to Goa after dropping your kids at your in-laws' place, there should be no compromise in the driving pleasure. Apollo says that the tread blocks on the Aptera Cross, the tread blocks are these raised rubber segments of a tire that make contact with the road surface. Yeah, so those tread blocks have just the right amount of stiffness doctored into them.
So that you get good feedback and grip while handling. But when that great road suddenly ends, what happens? Well, then you get reassuring braking performance. Now, tires might look more or less the same since you and I saw car for the first time in our lives, but it only stands to reason that through time, technology and science, tires have changed in more ways than one.
Yes, but that does not stop Indian roads from handing out punctures to tires. A puncture is one of those weird events like a headache or diarrhea, which happens more than once in a person's lifetime.
Comment below if you want him to see a dog. Anyways, Apollo seems to have a solution for us because the Aptera Cross tires have twin steel belts inside and the rubber for added protection, making these tires virtually puncture resistant. That's the point.
So how soon can you fit that new SUV that you booked this Diwali with a brand new set of Aptera Cross tires? How about right now? They're available at your nearest Apollo dealership.
Alright, so that was all from our end this time around about the Apollo Aptera Cross. Do come back again because there are more of these launch alerts coming up on Power Drift. Now here's me wishing you have a good day. Don't have a day like mine, which means run a good tire. Don't run into punctures. Just run into Apollo Aptera Cross. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm going to see you again next time.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I am your host with the most, Varun Painter, and I will see you later.
Until then, goodbye. Good night.
Yeah, cut.